Hey, what is going on, fight fans? You already know it is Thursday night, not Tuesday night.
Hmm.
10 o'clock, here we are. We rescheduled last week because it was my mistake. I had a big power outage right before the show went on. So, hey, you're listening to the Fight Club 215. I am Paul Spencer, and always to the side of me, my main man, Joey Woods, co founder of Out of the Box. Joey, how's everybody doing, brother?
Doing good, doing good.
Good.
Wasn't my fault this week, but thankfully,
Hey, leave
put
it
that
up, leave it
blame
up
on
to,
you.
yeah, leave it up to the boys of Out of the Box here. The founders up there, we're always coming with something, coming up
Yeah,
wrong. But
which is shocking, because you would think your area up there they'd be used to the snow, 6 inches, and they put the lights out. Might be for a long winter for you, Paul.
Don't say that, Joey. We got a lot of shows on Out of the Box, man, that need us here. So, but yeah, it was exactly what you're saying, Joey. Like I was ready to go. I had the banners ready to go. I was about to say, Joey, let's go. Let's hop on, get serious here. And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting here and the power goes out. It's just like total darkness.
Yeah.
And I call Penelec up here. It's not, like you guys have down there, Pico. We have Penelec. And I'm like, how long is it going to take? Then I text my friend over there who was a dispatcher. She says 1 o'clock. And I'm like, well, my question was just like you. Why are we losing power the first day of the winter?
Yeah,
With
six
all the
inches
snow.
of snow. I mean, you get a
And
lot up there, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. 6 inches of snow, and it's just like the
Not
beginning of
quite
the year.
Buffalo, but.
Yeah, we're not. Today, the good thing is we're not going to move to a different state like Buffalo goes to Detroit. We're not going to do that. We'll stay here. We'll just reschedule it to another date. But
Isn't
hey,
that
listen.
crazy? We get off topic again here, but
Mhm.
Buffalo promotes a $1 billion+ stadium, right, for a new stadium, and then they want to do a stadium with no roof again. Like,
Yeah, Joey, I get the home field advantage because you're playing it. But if that's going to be your home field advantage clause, then play in the damn snow, man. You
well, I
know,
don't think it was a matter of this. I think it wasn't a matter of the snow because they were
it's
saying that
safety
the
wise,
players
it's safety.
getting the fans to and from the games would have been the issue.
Exactly, that's what it was. I mean, you look at it both ways, Joey. Of course, the players will get there; they'll find a way to get there.
Yeah, I mean, a
But
couple years ago when they had the issue, they had the Bills were picking the players up in snowmobiles. Remember a couple
yeah,
years ago when their game was switched to Lions game
yeah.
also?
hmm And I mean, with the fans, Joey, you think about it. Like, are you really going to risk? Yeah, it's one game. You really love your team. You're diehard, but are you really going to risk injury?
Yeah.
Going out there in the snow, you could slip, fall, whatever. But it is what it is. But hey, listen, we're live. The Fight Club 215 is live in about 2 inches of snow. I don't know what you guys got down there, but we are
We got
ready to go.
nothing.
You got nothing, man. I'll send it your way, Joey.
Yeah, we got nothing.
I'll
It's
definitely
pretty
send some
funny
your
that
way.
the Bills. If I'm Buffalo, I'm not leaving Detroit. You play in
And you play
Buffalo on
Thursday.
Sunday. You play Thursday. I wouldn't leave. I would just
Me either. I mean, you can
hunker
you,
down
you
in the
can stay
stadium.
there, right? Stay there in your hotel room, chill out,
Because
go to
you're gonna have a hard
practice.
time if you're getting 6 feet. You're not getting back into Buffalo
So the funny thing
Monday.
is, there's that little meme out there of some of the players under 6 foot.
Under 6 foot,
You
yeah,
got Josh Allen looking above like the snow. Then you got these little guys
yeah.
with just showing their hands up. Like, man, I mean,
I
the
think like
field's not gonna be like that, but
the most we saw in our lifetime here, like 2 feet maybe,
wow,
24 inches
yeah.
maybe.
Well, yeah, here maybe Joe, I've seen probably about been here 3 years now. Probably about maybe I want to say maybe 15 inches of snow so far up here.
So 15 inches. So imagine that,
I
six
wouldn't,
feet.
Joey. I wasn't going anywhere with 15 inches, brother. I was hunkered
But
down. I was
6 feet, like I don't think people can wrap their head around quite how much 6 feet of snow is.
Joey, I'm exactly 6 feet tall.
Yeah,
Like there's no. Just imagine opening your door, Joey. I know we're going off subject, but the hell with it. We got a lot to talk about. Just imagine opening your front door, and it's just like, okay,
yeah.
what do I do?
I think I'd be panicking. Like if I opened my front door and all I saw was snow, like I'd be panicking because it's not like you can go out your second floor window. Because if you jump down, you're just gonna be trapped under snow. Like it's to me, it's wild to think about.
Exactly. Like in Philadelphia, Joey, we're used to shutting down schools with like 3 inches of snow. That's a blizzard, in some days. But like, imagine Buffalo. My goodness, man.
I just can't wrap my head around 6 feet.
I can't either. I
It's
can't
so
either.
hard to comprehend.
I can't either. But speaking of, snow knocking people out, let's get into this UFC 281, Joey. I mean, it's been almost a little bit over a week now since, we were going to talk about this. Not even a week,
Well,
but
not quite a week.
not
Not
quite a week.
quite a
Yeah,
week yet.
Saturday to Thursday here. Yeah, a little under a week, 5 days here. But man, I mean, this card was stacked, Joey. I mean, before we get into the fight, so did you think it was going to be this way, Joey, with the card stacked like this? Did it lead up to expectations before we get into it?
Hold on one second. I feel like my screen just went really dark. Okay, there we go.
That snow's coming your way, brother. You might be getting
Yeah,
5 feet of
right.
snow tonight.
Uh, for the most part, I think it was a really good,
hmm
a really, really good card. I feel like it went a little fast. I feel like I don't think
It
I don't
did
think
actually.
I don't think any of the fights on the main card went to a decision.
No. Mm-mm.
So I think it was a faster card than normal.
Hmm.
So that was good. I was actually at Parks watching this fight. So I went to
You went to concerts. Who was it?
JB Smooth, the
Yeah,
comedian.
I seen
He
that. Yeah.
he's so friggin' funny. But so we saw him. He started at 8 and he was over right at 10. So right at 10 we went right to the bar area, Sugar at Parks, and they were playing it live there
Oh, was it?
for free. So it was pretty
Was it
cool.
pretty packed, Joey? There's a lot of people down there getting to the UFC at like Parks Casino.
It was mobbed actually. So
Was it
I'm
really?
not sure
Okay.
if you ever were you ever at Parks before?
A couple times, yeah.
You know the sports book area they have?
I was new because I remember going there about 2 years ago. That was the last time I've been down there.
I don't know how long it's been there. They have a spot in the back. It's the sports book, and they have like these lounge chairs and stuff.
I
There's
don't remember
probably
seeing
about
all that.
70 chairs there, and there's like it's like a 360 screen all around the entire room.
No, I didn't see all that, Joey. That must have been
And
new.
they every screen has like a different game on. Like maybe like they had I think they had Oregon and was it Oregon Washington this weekend they played?
Yes, yes.
They had that game on one screen. They had the fights on one screen, and
That's cool.
typically that's where me and my wife are going to sit to watch the fights.
Mhm.
But when we walked in there, it was standing room only. Like there were probably 200 people
Wow,
standing at that point. So we ended
wow.
up going to the beer garden. You had to order food to sit there, so we ordered dinner and watched the
Mhm.
fights there. But yeah, it was pretty packed. I mean, Eddie
That's great.
Alvarez was there. He had a VIP booth. He was watching the fights there and stuff.
Oh,
It,
wow.
it was it was pretty funny, the Chandler Poirier fight. Two guys who have beat Eddie in kind of dramatic fashion.
Right.
So that for him there to be watching the fights and see that, I was like,
I
oh
think that would be something you just pay for admission to see his reaction to these guys. Like, ow, ooh, ow. I remember
yeah,
that. Like,
yeah. I mean, Chandler tapped Eddie out, and I think
mhm,
Poirier put him out.
put him
So
out. Yeah, yeah. Well, let's get into it, Joey. Let's talk about the very first fight. I,
yeah,
I just have one question, Joey. Okay. Hell, I've seen a lot of UFC fights in my day. We both have, Joey, but what the hell was Pulias doing? I can't even say his name. What is this, like a new type of UFC on the ground? Like what is this, Joey? What
well,
is
I
this fight?
mean, we talked about him as our last show. Talked
Hmm.
about how he's had multiple wins with knee bars,
Right,
which
right.
which which is what he was doing with those rolls. He was trying to initially look like he was trying to get a heel hook in, and
Hmm.
then he started to try to transition to the knee bar. But that's what he was doing. He knew his path to victory was not going to be on the feet. He knew he had to get the submission, and his submission is good enough where he didn't have to take the takedown. He can just
True,
lock
true.
that knee in and get the win. It was pretty funny the one part of the fight though when he thought he had the heel hook in, and he's cranking, and
Yes,
Hooker's just
yes.
sitting there like, what
He
what
puts
is
his
this?
hand,
Like,
he puts his hand up like, does this dude really think he's got me?
yeah,
I'm about to tap out here. I would have went like this.
yeah,
Something like that. Like, I don't get it, Joe. I mean, I understand what he's made of. That it doesn't make the UFC or MMA boring. But when you see a guy just, of course it's his advantage. That's what he's going to do. That's his moves. That's his, mo for the whole MMA fighting. But Joey, to me, it was just like watching a kid on the ground when you got the bully standing up above you, and you're on the ground with your lunch money, down on the ground. You don't want to give it up, and you're just kicking for your life.
yeah.
That's what it's going to look
It.
like.
But here's the thing. Um, he's very good at that submission,
He is. He
but
is.
at some point you become very one dimensional, and
Hmm.
at some point you need to either use your striking to set up that submission,
Right.
or forget striking, use your grappling, use your takedowns to get
Hmm.
him into a position to get that heel hook locked in. He was just shooting for the heel hook and
Right. That's
the
all he was
knee
doing.
bar the
Hmm.
entire time, and it got to be the point where Hooker could just roll right out of it, and it just got to be too predictable. I feel like maybe if he would have, I don't think striking would have done any good for him because Hooker is
No. Yeah.
an excellent striker.
Hmm.
But I think if he maybe um, peppered in there a little bit, takedown, just regular takedowns, not grabbing for the
Yeah. Right.
knee, like real
Just going
takedowns,
right
like
after.
level
Exactly. Right.
changes and
Hmm.
shooting for takedowns might have helped him a little more because Hooker knew if I just defend my front leg,
Hmm.
I'm good to go. if maybe he went for a double leg and tried to take him down like that, maybe it would have worked a little more. I just think it became too predictable. And Hooker knew all I have to do is kind of load
Exactly.
up on this front leg, and I'm good
Mhm.
to go. So I feel like that
Yeah,
was the
watching
issue.
him, like, the defensive technique just on that leg, Joey, showed me a lot. Like, just like you said, you avoid that right there, and then you can clearly win the fight because he's not showing anything else. You know,
Yeah,
the leg was so far out at many times where he's just trying to heel grab or go for the knee submission, but he couldn't get it because it was just one move, and that's all you were looking for, basically. You know,
yeah.
this oh man, I mean, I'm not going to say it was boring. It's his way of fighting versus
How
versus
about
Hooker fight,
let's
but
talk about the finish happened. Repeated body
mm,
kicks. Just
yes,
didn't.
yes.
I don't know. I didn't check. I'm not sure if it was ended up being like ribs broken or what.
Mhm.
But just repeated kicks to the same spot, like the plex, just did
Yeah,
him in, which you don't
that
normally see too much.
exactly. I mean, he did his body. The damage was there, Joey. I mean, it clearly took advantage, and it showed. But man, I tell you, like, where does Hooker go from here, Joey?
That's
It's a hard question.
it's a hard question because who he's fought in the past.
Hmm.
He's fought Dustin. He's fought Islam. He's fought
Right.
not Dustin. Chandler.
Hmm.
He's fought like he's fought all of these top of the line guys.
Hmm.
He did fight Dustin. He fought Dustin, Chandler, Islam, like all within the last 2
Yeah.
years.
Recent. Right. That's what I mean.
I don't know. I
I
that's a
want.
hard.
I want to get your opinion on that because, like you said, his fight record, his resume is serious. You know what I mean? Like, where does he go from here?
Yeah.
Honestly.
So let's see. Hooker's 11th.
Hmm.
Um, maybe a Dos Anjos. Maybe the seventh ranked fighter and Rafael Dos Anjos.
Okay.
That
Okay.
might be
Okay.
because looking at us, they've never. That's two guys that never actually fought before.
Right. Right.
So that could be a
Give him
good
a little new blood. Give him a little new blood there, huh?
fight for both guys. It's a new fight that you one of the few fights in the top 10 that wouldn't have happened before.
Right.
Especially for Dos Anjos, who's fought everybody. That would have been a
Hmm.
great fight. It's good for Dos Anjos if he wins. It moves him up a couple spots in the rankings. It's
Right.
good for Hooker if he wins because it moves him up very far in the rankings. So I would say that's probably the fight I would look to make. I have to see if Dos Anjos has a fight scheduled yet or not.
I don't think I believe does it.
He
Wait,
does.
he does.
He
That's right. Yeah,
does.
I think he does. I think he does.
December
Yeah.
3rd versus Barberina. Okay, so
Isn't that on the fight night, not the main card? Right? Is it a fight night?
it's a fight night.
Yeah.
Thompson versus
Okay.
Holland.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which that fight, I mean, we're gonna talk about that fight card too, but Holland retires
Hmm.
and then 3 days later has a fight announced. So I don't know what's going on with that fight, but
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Yeah. But
um, I don't know honestly what
I
it's
want to get your opinion about that because I mean,
it's.
his resume, Joey, is there. His resume is there, but does he have an asterisk because he's coming off the two losses? What do you think with Allen
I mean,
and Islam?
you never fault somebody um for losing when they fight. We're talking about Islam, who's now champion.
Right. Right.
Poirier, who's number 2.
Hmm.
Chandler, who's number 5. Like these are top of the top division. I mean, listen, it's up for the UFC to decide that. But if I'm Hooker, like, I mean, he's never fought Turner, who's 10.
Right.
But like, is that really a fight you want? You're not really gonna move much in the rankings.
You're not. You're not. I mean, this is not one of the clear. Like we've talked to Joe before. When you're a lower rank and you fight a higher guy, this is not a higher guy. This is the higher guy winning against the lower seed. You're
But
expecting.
Hooker's only 11 because of who he's
Yeah.
fought in the past.
Right. Right.
If Hooker fought more guys closer to his rankings,
He'd be
he
higher.
he probably be on a win streak a little bit. But we're talking about Poirier and Chandler and Islam
Hmm.
and Allen. Like all these guys are good fighters. So
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know.
That's a tough one. I mean, Dos Santos is fighting. When is that, Joey? Is that the next fight night?
December 3rd.
All right, so we got another. Okay, yeah, basically it's gonna be pretty much in about 3 weeks. Really, 3 weeks coming up. Yeah, okay. So that's out of the question. So where are you gonna put them? Who are you gonna put them against next? I'm gonna let you make the card. Who are you putting them against?
You know, I I think they're gonna have to go next in line
Okay.
in terms of 11 versus 10, but there's not really many fights that
Hmm.
move the needle of who he hasn't fought already.
Right.
Because I don't see Gaethje being agreeing to fight somebody
Hmm.
that low compared to him.
Yeah, it has an advantage for him. There's no advantage for him if he fights a lower guy like that. What's it going to do for him? He clearly wants to move back up to where he needs to be to get that title contender shot. So why would you even take that fight? I mean, I'm just looking at it his way.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see, but that's why they get big bucks and not me. So
Yeah, thank God. We always criticize, we want the best fights, but when it comes down to it, it's kind of actually hard making these
but
fights.
that
If you think
division's
about
so
it.
hard because
Right.
it's
It's
like
stacked.
very log jam at the top
Hmm.
with Oliveira, Islam, Chandler, Poirier, Gaethje. Like you got those five guys who
Yes. Hmm.
kind of all fought each other, and you're still left with okay, what next? It's like it's so hard at the top,
Yeah, like you think
which is
about that.
now why you see Volk stepping up to fight that division. 'Cause that
Exactly.
division, if not, that division would have been a crapshoot because it's like, okay, what next? It's just like it's kind of been like a rotating door where they've all fought each other, and
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
been different results for every fighter. So it's like,
Right.
well, what now?
It's like if you're not in the top two, you're not the champ or the number one contender. You're considered the odd man out. You fought everybody in the division here. Stack 1 through 5, but who's the odd man out from 3 to 5? That
Yeah,
division is kind of just like you said, a logjam. It's bad. That's why Volk's going to move. Go against Islam. I mean, that's going to be wow, pound for pound versus probably top three of all time. Looking at Volkanovski, you know what I mean? The way he's fighting right now,
the path that he was on, that's going to be a huge test for him,
I think it is
and we'll
too.
talk
Yeah.
about that too, just because
Hmm.
Islam, I think, is a little bit bigger dude.
I think he's got what, like 3 or 4 inches on him, right?
But people don't, a lot of people don't know this, but in his prime, Volkanovski was a rugby fighter,
Hmm.
and he was playing rugby at like 260, 270.
Whew.
Like he was a big boy. So Volk definitely has some power. Is there enough power to keep Islam on the feet?
Hmm.
If he can keep it on the feet, I think it's a long night for Islam, but that's a
Yeah,
big if. No one
yeah,
seems to, we say it all the time, if, but
yeah. I mean, he's a different breed, Joey. He's a different breed. We always looked at that record like, is the record blemished? Who he's fought, who he's not fought. But my God, the dude is an animal, Joey. He's a complete
yeah.
animal, complete.
And I think he's fought a little bit better opponents compared to even Khabib in his
Yeah, yeah.
path to the champion.
Hmm.
Once Khabib got the belt, Khabib started to fight the big names, but I
Hmm.
think Islam fought a little bit better names, and that's a discussion for another day. I mean,
Yeah,
that card so far is stacked. We get Yair
yeah,
versus Emmett, which remember a couple of months ago we thought they were kind of doing Emmett a little dirty there, not giving him
yeah. I'm glad
not giving
Josh.
him. Remember he had
Yeah.
that discussion where they weren't giving him
Hmm.
tickets. They sat on like the fifth row. He felt slighted. He was like, "What's next
Exactly.
for me?" and stuff. And now he's getting the belt shot. So I think great underdog story from him. He worked his ass off, got his way all the way back up the
Hmm.
ranking. So it's gonna be a great card when we discuss it. But let's finish this card up because
Yeah, well,
that card's future dates.
exactly. Anything else you want to talk about the Hooker Pulis fight?
Not much.
No.
Kind of exactly what I expected. If it was on the
Yeah.
feet, Hooker wins. If he's able to get it to the ground, Hooker loses. But
Hmm.
kind of exactly what we predicted.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I said, Joe. I was honest. I like Pulis. I don't think I had to YouTube a couple of his fights. I wasn't really familiar with them, and I don't want to criticize the guy. That's his fighting momentum. That's the way he fights, and he tried to do what he had to do, but it just became one dimensional. Hooker took
And it's
advantage
easy
of it.
for us to
You
say
know?
here, Paul. It's easy for us to say, like armchair coaching type of thing, where
Hmm.
us to criticize him. But if it works his past two fights, if it
Hey,
would have worked this fight, I'd been like, wow, hell of a game plan. But
right,
just so
right.
happens that Hooker was able to escape. But
Hmm.
I mean, if it works, it's like we look at the Phillies with the World Series. When they put Alvarado in there against Alvarez. If it works, it's
Yeah,
the greatest move in the world. But second, it doesn't
exactly.
work.
You're
oh my god,
criticized. You're
so
so
stupid.
criticized.
Why
Yeah,
would you do that?
exactly.
You know, so
Mhm.
it's easy to say it
I
now
mean,
when it's
hell,
all
let's
said and
just say
done.
his last two fights were, submission moves, first round and third round, so it works for him. So
Yeah, it works.
why do something different
And
when
we
you can
see
clear
why it
as hit?
works because his
Hmm. His
uh,
fighting style,
his
that's what he does.
grappling chain to get to that point is impressive. You know how he can just at a
Hmm.
second notice shoot for that leg, and a lot of times once he gets clamped on, it's over with. So it was very
Yeah,
impressive.
it
Just
was.
happens that Hooker was well trained for it. And
Hmm.
I think it's because those last two wins were by that. Especially that Hooker was probably training for that every step of the way.
Yeah,
Like, this
of
is what he's
course.
gonna do. He's gonna shoot for my leg,
Hmm.
protect that leg, and I should be good to go. But
And I tell you, Joey, being, if I'm Hooker, and of course I'm not Hooker, but if I'm fighting somebody like that, I know what he's going to do. That's going to frustrate me, Joey, because I know one move with my leg the wrong way or giving
yeah,
up a position, I could be done in just a second to tap out. And I give all the credit for Hooker's training camp, his team, because man, they had to watch the game film and know
yeah.
exactly how to reverse that and how to avoid that situation.
Well, I give before we go to the next fight, like you said, I give Hooker credit for another thing is look at Hooker won. Hooker won by repeated body shots, kicks
Yes.
to the body,
Hmm.
which a lot of times when you're fighting a guy who, if they get you to the ground, it's almost over.
Hmm.
Those kicks kind of don't come anymore because
Right.
you're so fearful that this guy is going to shoot for your leg that
Hmm.
if you're throwing a kick and he shoots, it's usually almost an instant takedown. So
Exactly.
those kicks don't usually come. So you got to give Hooker the credit for continuing to throw those kicks,
Hmm.
even when knowing that those takedowns could be coming. So that
Agreed.
was impressive also. But
Agree 100%. I agree with that 100%. I mean, kudos to him. He did what he had to do, you know. And hey, listen, you got the W. Very simple. But let's get into this next fight, Joey. Man, Frankie Edgar,
mm,
Gutierrez. What did you think, Joey? What did you think? I'll start. I'll let you start.
mm-mm. This
Mm-mm.
was this sad fight to watch. Very sad, you
Yeah,
know.
that's
Talk
why
about,
I didn't want to cry first, Joey. I didn't want to cry first. So I'm going to let you go ahead with this one because,
but it's even different, Paul, for
man,
like you compared to me. Like you were already a grown man watching.
yeah,
Like
you're right.
seriously, like, you were already a grown man watching Frankie Edgar. Like
Mhm.
Frankie Edgar has been doing this since I think UFC 67.
Right. We talked
Like
about that. He was 67. Yeah, yeah.
67, which was 2007. So I'm in 6th grade, the first time I ever see Frankie Edgar fight. I've grown up with this sport, watching this man fight and
Mhm.
be at the top of the top for so long. You know, I've grown up watching this man in absolute wars, whether it was Gray Maynard or BJ Penn. You know,
Yeah,
absolute wars,
yeah.
and to see him go out like that kind of hurt a little bit. You know, put a little bit of bad taste in my mouth. I will give credit though. His opponent was very classy, very respectful.
He was.
He knew Edgar was out the second he hit that knee. He could have
Mhm.
easily followed up with 7
Yes.
or 8 um, ground and
Mhm.
pound shots, and he chose to not do anything. He, in fact, alerted the ref, "Hey, ref, he's out. He's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tackle him." And the ref was smart enough to acknowledge it and call the fight.
Mhm.
So I'll give it credit there. But you got to feel for Frankie. You know, his family's sitting front row watching their dad get. It wasn't just a knockout, it was a knockout cold. Like, it
Yes.
was brutal. You hate to see a fighter go that way, but another thing that was really cool, and I picked up on it, we picked up on it too. Um, Joe Rogan usually gets a lot of criticism
Mhm.
because people say fighters get knocked out, and then Rogan's kind of throwing a microphone in their face.
Mhm.
Rogan made it a point
Yes.
during
Yes.
this fight to ask Frankie,
He did.
are you
Yes.
okay enough to speak? Because if not, I won't do the interview." And Frankie was like, "No,
Yes.
I'm fine." Because
I respected that. I respected it 100% when he did that. Yes.
a lot of times he
Are
was,
you okay? Are you okay coming off that? Are you okay? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
that was respectful. That
Yeah,
really
because a
was.
lot of times he was getting a lot of criticism for it because he was
Mhm.
doing it. He was interviewing like right after knockouts, and people were like, "Holy shit!" Like I remember like the Connor fight. Connor
Mhm.
just broke his leg in half, and he's on the ground interviewing the dude. Like,
He's sitting on the ground with them, like he was on the ground against the cage, like
yeah,
with the mic in
yeah,
hand. Like, how are you feeling? What the fuck you mean? How am I feeling, bro?
my
Like
leg just
really?
snapped in half. But
Yeah.
and then how about How do we play last time? Gutierrez.
Gutierrez. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
How about him like announcing like this fight was for my coaches? My coaches had cancer. Like just when I had cancer, so it's like just across the board, it was really like a moving
Hmm.
match in a sport
It
that doesn't
was.
really bring emotion out of you. In terms
Yeah.
of that, it brings emotion out of you, but not that kind of emotion.
Mhm.
So across the board, it was a very good fight. Not for Frankie, obviously, but damn, Gutierrez looks like he's gonna be an absolute. I mean, he's
Yes.
already an absolute killer, but
Mhm.
this kind of cemented him. Watch out division because this man's here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this was a welcome party for him, But and yes, you give him 100% credit, Joe. You don't take anything away from Gutierrez at all. Respected. His background story with his coaches and everything is, his bless you, his
Thank you.
storyline. But then you look at Edgar on the other side, man. Like, oh man, dude, the
Yeah, you
legend.
hate to see legends go out like that,
Oh,
you know.
like
I always
I'm
go
not.
back to Munoz. Munoz,
Hmm.
uh, where he went out with went out with a win, and then took his gloves off and uh,
If I'm going to go out, Joey, I'm a legend in the game. My last fight after I win it, I just want to let Joe Rogan come to me. How are you feeling? I'm feeling great. Thank you to my fans. Thank you to the man upstairs, my family, my fans. And I just want to say thank you, UFC. And I just want to drop the mic, Joey. That's what I want to do. But man,
yeah,
when you go out with that knee kick, but you just like you said, I give Gutierrez credit and respect for him because man, listen, UFC is a different breed of people, Joey. It's a killer's game, man. We know that. He could have literally put 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 Edgar in a coma for the rest of his life if he would have, just continued to do what he
yeah,
did. I mean, I respect that 100% because he did look at the ref like, okay, you gonna stop this right now because I'll kill him.
yeah,
But man,
yeah,
oh god, I hate to see it. I mean, you're gonna feel. I felt that knee, Joey. I felt that knee.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
It
brutal,
was
brutal,
brutal.
brutal. So where do you think Gutierrez goes next, Joey? I mean, he's here, man. He's already cemented that name out there, Joey. The dude is an animal. He's a beast.
Yeah, it's
Oh man.
he could honestly as high as he wants because that was
Mm-hmm.
he went from not ranked to 13th.
Huge jump. Huge jump. Right.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
mean,
Yeah. It's a huge jump for him.
uh, maybe Munoz who just lost
Okay.
to. Well, he didn't lose. He had that weird eye poke fight versus O'Malley.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're
Maybe
right.
Munoz, who's 10, that'd be a good fight for both guys.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of gets Munoz back on track and helps Chris move up the rankings a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he wants to keep taking out legends, go up Dominic Cruz at 8, maybe a good fight.
Okay. I mean, think about it. Okay, you just beat Frankie Edgar, who was what? He was what, seventh? Wasn't he seventh?
I think he was 7th.
All right, so you beat the seventh ranked fighter. Okay, yeah, I can agree with running with Munoz. Maybe. What about it? What about an Aldo or Font? What do you think? Too high yet?
Well, where is Aldo?
Aldo should be. He was right in front. I think he was sixth. I thought he was sixth.
He's not even in the rankings anymore.
That's weird. I'm looking at it here, and he was sixth last like two. Well, this is what this is 2 weeks ago, Joey. You're right. I don't know why he's
That's
not
really
in.
strange.
That is weird. Yeah, that is weird. I'm looking at it here, and it's kind of
Yeah,
weird.
that's. I look that up. Why was he?
Yeah, that is weird. Holy crap. Yeah, that is weird. I don't get that. But I mean,
Oh,
he's here to stay. Gutierrez is here to stay. I mean, my
he was
God.
released.
Oh, was he? Was this recent?
He retired.
Oh wow, they didn't even update him yet because they still have him sixth. Wow.
Well, I didn't remember hear about this at all. It happened in
Me
September.
either. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. I that's why he's still on here for some reason.
Yeah, September 27th. He was.
All right, so we're looking almost a month and a half ago. But wow, wait a minute.
I don't remember that at all. I
I
think I
don't either.
remember that, but
I don't
okay.
remember that. Okay, all right. Well, I guess it's all right. I guess the UFC didn't update this yet. They're not sure. I mean, I don't know. What the
What
hell's
are you
going
looking?
on?
I have the UFC rankings right here. He's not on it. The
I'm look,
official
I'm
UFC
actually looking
one.
at the ESPN one, the updated USC version.
Yeah, so
ESPN
that
version.
the ESPN must not have updated because
Yeah.
UFC does have it
Okay. All
updated.
right. All right. All right. That is what it is then. All right. Well, Joey, let's get into this next fight. My God, Joey, this. This fight here,
Mm,
Dustin Poirier and Chandler. My God, Joey. I mean, where do you start, Joey? Where do you start?
just wow, that fight was it was
Yeah.
incredible.
Oh
It was
God.
incredible. But can we just before we get into the actual fight, it just seems like every fight that Poirier has, he's crying about something else. Every single fight, he finds something else to cry about.
Can't
Like
the man,
literally.
Joey? Can't the man cry, brother? Come on.
But seriously, haven't you noticed that, Paul? Like every fight, he's bitching about something else.
He does. He does.
I mean, remember with the first Alvarez, he was complaining about the ear shot that goes behind the ear, and they no contested or something like that.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
it's just always something with dude. You know, this fight, it's the guy's pulling his mouth, and hey, if you're not caught, is it
Now,
cheating?
what was his words, Joey? He's hooking my mouth. Is that what he said? He
So what
hooked
he
it.
was doing was he Poirier's gasping for breath, you know, because they're in a grappling exchange.
Hmm.
So he was putting his hands in his mouth
Hmm.
because Poirier is like this to protect
Right.
his
Right.
neck.
Right.
So Chandler is putting his hands in his mouth to cause his head to come up so he can sneak in the arm under the chin
To lock him in. To lock him in. Yeah.
to lock in a submission.
Hmm.
Which listen, is it a clean move? No, but is it cheating if you're not caught?
Exactly. You know, Joey. I seen on Twitter they were talking about it. You know, and they said that's where I got the words hooking the mouth. One of the people on the Twitter, I forgot who it was. They said yes, he was hooking his mouth. Yes, he was doing that. But listen, the one guy chimed in, he's like, it's illegal, it's illegal. And the guy chimed in and said exactly what you did. If you don't get caught with it, okay,
Yeah.
then it's not illegal.
We're
Why,
talking about a
why
sport,
do you
Paul, where
push you up against a cage and
yeah,
avoid that ref, that ref's eye contact with something that you're doing? A lot goes on inside that cage
yeah,
when you don't see it, when your face is up
yeah.
against that cage.
We're talking about a sport, Paul, where these guys dehydrate themselves and practically kill
Mhm.
their body to
Right.
fight 2 or 3 divisions lower than what they're supposed to,
Hmm.
just so that come fight day, they're 20, 30 pounds heavier than another guy. What
Hmm.
about a sport that every little advantage counts in this sport, you
Hmm.
know? So does it shock you that something like that would happen in the ring when these guys are dehydrating themselves
Of course
to
not.
get the extra weight in? So do I think it was? I don't honestly. I don't know if it's that I'm just not a Poirier fan or what.
Hmm.
And I'm such, that I really like Chandler as a fighter. I think he's a great fighter. I
Hmm.
wish he would be less of a brawler because I think
Yeah.
he has all the skills to be a world class champion. I mean, he already was in Bellator and stuff,
Hmm.
but I think if he stops brawling and starts actually fighting, you know,
Hmm.
actually not saying he's not fighting, but actually goes in there with a game plan. You know, actually goes in there
I agree. I agree. I agree with
and
you.
defends himself a little more. I think he could be a legit title contender because
Mhm.
we've seen he has the takedowns. You know,
Right.
I said it too. I said I think when we were talking about this fight last week, I think Poirier stand ups a little better. Chandler's path to victory is takedowns.
Hmm.
We saw in that second round, Chandler had top control literally the entire second round.
Yeah. Yeah. There's almost 5 minutes total ground control. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Chandler got a little too full of himself in that third round, where realistically he was up 2-0
Yeah.
going into that third round.
Hmm.
But he's such a all or nothing. He's such a brawler at this point in his career that
Hmm.
he went out there and tried to end the fight. Which unfortunately, if he would have just kind of avoided and maybe went for a takedown, which he did do, but that ended up costing him because he tried to do a crazy takedown rather than just getting a takedown. You
I.
know that
What did you think about that, Joey? What did you think about that attempt? Let's call it an attempt, Joey.
I
What
just think it's
do you
again
got,
another
Joey?
example of
Yeah. Oh.
Chandler doing too much at some points. You know, again, if
Mm.
he goes in there and just does 10% less, you know,
Hmm.
less
There's
I
more.
hit you, you hit me type of thing. Less let me get this crazy takedown. You know, less of that. I think he wins this fight. I think he wins a lot of those fights. Like the Oliveira fight. He had Oliveira in danger,
Yeah.
but then he started engaging in these wild exchanges that got him caught and lost in the fight. If he does a little less of that, he
Hmm.
wins these fights.
Well, Joey, let me ask you. I mean, let's put it. Let's put. I mean, we call as football fans the Monday morning quarterback, as we all say. But let's put ourselves in there, Joey. You and I are in a heated battle here. We're in the octagon. We're fighting in the cage here, and I'm doing what I need to do. I'm basically winning you, and I gas you out. You're looking a little gassed here. Do you think I'm just going to lay on you for a little bit, or is that adrenaline going to come out and say, you know what, Joey's gassed here, man. I'm just going to stand up and I'm going to try to swing through the fences here.
But that's where the coach is going to come and play. Where
No, I agree. I
you're
just want to hear your
training
take.
for sometimes 2 months, 3 months at a time for
Mhm.
this fight. You have to know, and this is no knock on Chandler because he has great stand up also,
Right.
but you have to know that in those later rounds, Poirier's gas tank is still going to be there. He
Yes.
still is
Yes.
able to stand a trade
Mhm.
just as good as he was in the beginning rounds. And I just think that if Chandler does a little less brawling and a
Mhm.
little more technical, I mean, look at it. Look at Justin Gaethje.
Mhm.
When he first came to the UFC, he was the biggest. Just I hit you, you hit me. We're gonna just rock 'em, sock 'em, robot type of thing.
Exactly. Right. Right.
It, then he finally started using his actual skills,
Mhm.
using his defense, using his takedowns, and he's put it all together. And he was challenging for a championship. I
Exactly.
I I think if Chandler, and then listen to me, Chandler is at the top of the sport doing that. Can you imagine if he becomes a little more technical, what he could do?
Yeah.
I just think a little more technical. And we're talking about a dude who realistically could give Islam some trouble.
You think so?
I
If
realistically I believe
let's use the word if he evolved, Joey. If he
if
evolved
he
to a
evolved and
champion.
was more and a more well-rounded fighter with not a rock'em sock'em robot where he
Mhm.
actually went in there, he stuck to his game plan, and and here's why. This dude has good takedown defense. He
Agreed.
has good takedowns, and I think he's a lot better striker than Islam is on the feet.
I mean, yeah. Okay. But
If you're able to stuff 2 takedowns from Islam, you force Islam to keep it on the feet, and I think he wins relatively easy on the feet.
Now going back to what I said, Joey. If I get you on the ground and I'm going to win a duel out, drag out 3 round fight with you, but the thing is, like, I can understand if. Okay, we know Poirier can go the distance. We know that. Okay, we already know that. We already know his record. Him as a mo as a fighter. The only way I can see of me standing up, Joey, if I know this dude hasn't gone 3 rounds, and I don't even want to say that because the third round would be over, but is there a case that you would ever take it to you as a coach, Joey, the coach in the corner? Is there ever a point that you had this round, you had this pretty much cemented just to drag it out, maintain the grappling, maintain ground control? Is there ever a point where you tell your fighter, get off of him, take him, stand up with them, and take him out? Is there ever a point you do that, Joey?
I don't think so, because I mean, look at these last two pay-per-views. You got Usman who got
Yes.
overconfident, got caught with 30 seconds left, and you got Izzy
I think
who,
we'll talk about that tonight as well, correct?
yeah, got
Yeah.
overconfident and
hmm
it cost him the fight. I
hmm
just think it's MMA. If you got it in the bag, ride that out. Ride that out because
100%. 100%.
in a split second, everything you've worked for that entire fight could be instantly changed.
Yes.
So don't be dumb.
I agree 100%, Joey. Real quick, there's Linda. Linda, I'm so sorry it took so long to say hello to you. Thank you for checking in. We appreciate you. Thanks for getting that notification button. So if you're listening out there, do it just what Linda does. She hit that notification button, that subscribe, that like, and everything out there, so she knows where we're on. We're not even supposed to be on tonight, and she's seen us on because she got the notification. So hit that subscribe button. You'll know when we're on all the shows. But yeah, you're right, Joey. I mean, there's never a point in any match where you take your foot off the pedal and you know what you're doing to win the fight. Continue to do it
Yep.
because we've seen it. We've seen it so many times. Usman, Edwards, and I think we're going to get into it with the main event tonight. You're on not cruise control. I don't want to say cruise control with the last fight, but you pretty much have that whatever they call that little levy, whatever it is. It's
Continue to do what got you to that point.
exactly. You're in a 3 round fight and you're up 2-0. Okay, well, there's only one way you're going to lose this damn fight: submit or a KO. You know, play the odds here. Play the odds. And
Yeah, and Chandler's fight's even different than the Izzy fight. With the Chandler fight, Chandler should have just stayed. Oh, that was bad.
what are you watching?
The football,
Oh,
Tannehill
what's the
second
score?
and
What's the score anyway, Joey?
27-17 Titans.
Oh, crap. Yeah. What did I take?
But Titans were driving, Paul.
Mm.
and Tannehill throw maybe one of the worst picks I've ever seen. Like literally right to it was bad. It was a bad double coverage pick. But
Wow.
um, with the Chandler and Izzy fight, it's a little different here.
Mhm.
Izzy just and we'll talk about the Izzy fight a little more. But if Izzy just continues to grapple the way he was doing all fight, he wins that fight because you
Yeah.
saw at the end of the fight, Alex was getting frustrated. At one point, he was like this to the refs, like, "What's going on
Yes.
here?"
Exactly.
When
Hmm.
Izzy was exchanging and the grappling and changing positions, that ref was not going to separate them. But
Hmm.
Izzy, for some reason, separated it and started trying to exchange,
And that's the
which
wrong thing to do with him.
we'll talk about that. But
Hmm.
this fight,
100%.
Chandler should just stay back, made Poirier engage, and instead Chandler tried to get
Get greedy. I want to say get greedy.
highlight
Yeah.
reel takedown,
Yeah.
which backfired, and
Yeah.
that's what cost him the fight.
I
I mean,
want to
hell,
say
this
he
is
got. I
a
want to say
hell
he
of
got
a
greedy.
fight.
I want to say he got greedy, Joey. He got greedy with this.
This is a hell of a fight. At the top of this division, you got Volk coming up now to fight Islam, so
Hmm.
that's gonna be next for this division. Then you'll have possibly, I mean, Oliveira was at the top for quite a while. I think
Hmm.
Oliveira deserves another shot at whoever ends up winning the.
I agree.
If Islam loses, Islam deserves another shot. But if Islam wins, I think you got to do Oliveira Islam again. At that point, talking about almost a year out, I would
Hmm.
like to see this fight again. Honestly,
Yeah, I mean, I would too. I would too. I love this fight. I mean, it was. I went. This is the fight I lost, Joey. I actually took Chandler to win this fight. Hoping that
so did
exactly what
I.
we said. I went. I think I went. I think it was 3 out of 5. I think it was. But
You look good. You look good for the first two rounds too.
exactly, that's what I mean. I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, you know what? I'm going 3-0 here. I'm pretty good on this fight. No, I'm sorry. Wait, I took actually Edgar. I
So did
wrote
I.
that. I wrote that momentum, Joe. Even though I said Gutierrez on the show, I ended up taking Edgar because you know what? Like, listen, he's a legend. He ain't going out like that, man. He ain't going out like that.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I thought too.
then I took Chandler as well, thinking exactly what we said. He's going to do what he has to do. But listen, man, you got greedy. You got greedy. Very simple, Joey. It's sad to say, but it was one hell of a damn fight, though. I get that. But hey, let's get into this one, Joey. I mean,
Ooh,
man,
sorry.
let's get into this one, Joey. I mean, we
Yeah.
both caught it. We both caught it. I did say a second round KO. I think it was going to be around second round here. But what did you think, man? Did Zhang just show you that she's just clearly the outclassed person in this one? And who does she go against? Does she get Rose now again?
Um,
Or do we run it back and get Esparza? Because after seeing this fight, Joey, I don't know.
there's no reason to run this back.
I can't see it. I can't see it either. Right.
There's no reason to run this back. Rose is two. I don't know what they do here. I mean,
That,
I don't know if Rose deserves another shot at
well, I
this.
mean, didn't Zhang lose to her twice, Joey?
She did, but after that last fight, man, it's gonna be hard
But
to.
Joey, listen, hey, listen, 2 losses are coming from me. So listen, you're the champ. I beat you twice. I want my shot. I want my shot because I know I can beat you.
Was it twice?
I think it was twice, Joey. I think it was twice. I thought Zhang lost to her twice. Look it up real quick. I think it was twice, Joey. I could have swore it was twice.
It was back to back KO and
Yeah,
decision.
it was twice. Yeah.
Uh, I mean, that's probably which way they go.
Hmm.
But exactly what we thought is exactly what happened. We thought
Yeah.
Zhang was too strong for Esparza to get the takedown, which is
Hmm.
exactly what happened. And then at one point, I think Esparza had the ground control and stood up.
She did. That had me like puzzled for a second. Like, okay, you got this beast. You have control here. Why are you letting your foot off and get up? You want to stand up against a rock'em sock'em killer?
Yeah,
Why?
I didn't.
Why?
I mean, this fight. There's not much to talk about in this fight.
No, it
Exactly
was.
what we thought was going to happen happened.
Mhm. Yeah.
Zhang's strength was just too much for Esparza,
Hmm.
and it was exactly what I thought. Now here's one thing that was a little head scratching to me
Hmm.
was Esparza's coaches in between rounds saying that you're too fast for her, I don't know
I
what
didn't even hear that. I
fight.
didn't even hear that. I usually during the end of the round, Joey, I usually get up and do something real quick, before the next round comes on. What were they saying?
You've seen her speed. It's not nothing you didn't expect. You're faster than her. I'm like, what part of that fight led you to believe that that was true?
Exactly. Is that just boosting the morale of your fighter in the corner? Like what fight were they in? You know?
Yeah, I don't. Not too sure, but
Wow, wow. That's just like me saying, Joey, listen, you can't see out of one eye, but you're looking good out there, man. They haven't hit you yet. You don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like you're
yeah.
good here. You're good here. But yeah, there wasn't much of that fight, Joey. We clearly said Zhang is, in a class of her own against Esparza. We've seen that second round there. Boom. Very simple. But let's move on to this show. Is there anybody, real quick, is there anybody that can beat Zhang?
Well, obviously Rose. She's beaten her twice.
So I think that's pretty much going to be the namesake of the next fight with her, pretty much, right? I mean, you have to go there.
Rose,
You have to go
or I mean, we're seeing the UFC do it more and more now, where two divisions fight each other.
there.
Why
Mhm.
not? If Zhang, if the Rose fight's not gonna happen, why not Zhang put on a couple pounds and go up and fight
Lomachenko?
Mashenko? That'd be a good fight.
I would like. That's what I was going to ask. That's why I mentioned. I think that would be a hell of a fight as well.
Or have Mashenko come move up and fight Nunez.
Oh wow, wow, wow.
Two fights that I would love to see. We
Damn.
saw Nunez and Mashenko fight before, but
Mhm.
at this point, I think that's the only logical thing. You have two
I think
girls
so
who kind
too.
of cleared out the division.
I agree. I agree. Well, Joey, let's get into this, man. Zhang already changed titles on that one. There took the title from Esparza. Well, here it's we've seen what we've seen, Joey. The style bender.
Couple of
The
things here pissed me off with this fight.
Let's go with the negative first, Joey.
First thing was Izzy was doing great with his game plan, and then all of a sudden at like round 3, he
Hmm.
started to allow Alex to walk him down and put his back against the cage, which to me
Yes.
was a huge head scratcher because we know this dude has world class knockout power.
Hmm.
Um, and Izzy was making this dude faint every chance, even inch move that Izzy threw. Alex was Alex was reacting to every single thing that Izzy did.
And
But for
Joey, there was a point in the fight where even the announcers, DC, and everybody said it. Like even just as you said, soon as he releases just a little fake, Alex was dropping.
so
He
the
was
entire fight, every time that Izzy hit something that was successful, the 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 combination was he would throw an overhand jab
hmm
that would be a glancing blow or almost miss.
hmm
Alex would move to the opposite direction,
hmm
left himself open, and then Izzy threw a hook
hmm
and would hit him every time. That's what almost dropped him in the first round.
exactly.
After round 3, he stopped throwing that, and it was just very confusing. Another thing, Izzy was getting the better on the grappling exchanges.
hmm
Izzy was putting him against the cage, making Alex hold Izzy's weight,
hmm
tiring Alex out, and really working the gas tank of Alex. And then Izzy kind of went away from that too. It just looked like a guy who felt Alex's power early in the fight and thought that this dude couldn't put him away. And then I feel like it was a guy that was out for revenge in that round 5, which
Yes.
came back and haunted him. I
Yes.
just wish Izzy would have continued to do what he was doing because I
hmm
really think that Izzy was up possibly 4-0, 3-1
I
at
had it.
that point
I
in
had a
time.
3-1. I had a 3-1 at that point going into the fifth show. Yeah.
So it still wins the fight though. So I
hmm
really just would have wished that Izzy would continue to doing what he was gonna do.
Yeah.
At this point though, I don't know how you could do another fight of these two. This is now 3 losses, even though it's a different sport. This is now 3 losses for Izzy against this guy. At some point, you gotta say, okay, this guy's just a better fighter, and
Mhm.
move on. I will say one thing, and people might call me crazy for this. I don't see Alex holding the belt for very long. I don't
Really?
see it. I don't see it. He was
Wow.
taken down at will by Izzy, who is not a
True.
good
True. Yeah.
wrestler. He
True.
was taken down and then held down at will by Izzy. Any
Mhm.
person who is even a little bit of good of a wrestler could get Alex to his back and grapple him for days and
Mm.
make it a long, long night for Alex. I know everyone's gonna say every fight starts on the feet. That's fine. Um, but I think this fight opened more eyes for how to beat Alex than it did Izzy. I think
Yeah.
everyone's saying, okay, this guy is beatable. There is a path to victory against this guy. If we get him to the ground, it's a long night for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think the gas tank. By the fourth round, Alex's mouth was wide open. He was gasping for
Yeah.
air.
He's gassing.
The fifth round, people could say, okay, well, Alex was starting good in the fifth round. That's because he knew he was down, and he was
Mm-hmm.
fighting for his life. There's a difference between having an empty gas tank and fighting for your life, and that's what he was
100%.
doing at that point.
Mhm.
Um, we Alex's gas tank was not there. I think that I don't really see him. I'm looking up the ranking real fast.
Why do you say that, Joey? I agree with you 100%. I mean, I didn't look at that way, but you think about it, a blueprint was really registered to the upcoming fighters versus Alex coming up because number one,
Like Whitaker,
I-
for example.
Izzy showed you not what to do to beat him. You clearly can dominate him by making him flinch, countering with the uppercut and the overcut, the overside jab. That was clear. We've seen that in rounds 1 through 3. Number two, you can take him down, just as you said. Izzy's not that kind of guy where he was going to maintain you on the ground to hold a beast on the ground. He did that, wear and tear him, drain him out his energy. But Izzy did the opposite. He let him up, basically.
Yeah,
You took your foot off there and
Whitaker,
you
who's
gave him that
who's a
gas.
lot better at takedowns and grappling and
Mhm.
whatnot. I think Whitaker is a very hard matchup for Alex. I think
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Whitaker, Derek Brunson, who's a very good
Mhm.
wrestler, I think gives him a hard time. Costa, who is another, he's
That's what I was going to say. Paulo Costa. Yeah.
got haymakers in his hands, but he's
Mhm.
also got some takedowns. Also, I think he could be a good
Exactly.
fight. There's a whole crap ton. Even Gastelum at 11, who's
Mhm.
a very good takedown wrestler, could give him a hard time. I just think, sure, his hands are electric,
Mhm.
but I think we saw this like, holy crap, there is definitely some gaping holes in this man's.
Yeah, I agree with that point, Joey. Because, like I said, when was the last time we seen Izzy being chased around the ring and surrounded into a corner? What I mean, you
But he
clearly have
allowed
two
that. He
people. He
allowed
did.
that,
No,
Paul.
that's what I mean. He did. He did exactly. He allowed that. You don't go toe to toe with the man of iron fist like that, Joey. He put himself in a position to be knocked out with one punch, just like a Usman was in 24 seconds left. That's what he put himself in position for.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That
think he
that clearly
definitely
that
allowed
clearly
that.
puzzled me. It puzzled me. It puzzled me.
I think he got too cocky, I would say,
Mhm.
and started to
Yeah.
allow Alex to walk him down, which was very stupid. If
Hmm.
he would have stuck to his game plan, I think he wins easily. I think he got too overconfident, and that's
Agree.
what led to him losing.
Joey, I'll change subject real quick. Just like you said that one word, the revenge factor. Okay, I think 100% that played into this because you're clearly up 3-1 or possibly 4-0 going into a last 5 minutes of the fight. Hell, if you want to be a bitch about it, run around the ring. Avoid the contact. Avoid whatever you have to do. Hey, get him on the ground. Whatever you need to do, avoid him. Whatever. Survive for 5 minutes. You win this fight. The
Did you
revenge
agree with
factor.
Izzy? Well, what he said, he was really pissed that as the champ, who's been the champ for so long, he wished that the ref would have allowed him to go out on his shield. Do you agree with Izzy in that notion?
You know what, Joey? I don't know if it was called too early. What do you think?
Um,
Joey, honestly, this is my
I
take
think
on
for
this.
any other fight, a regular fight, I think it was a good call. But Izzy's been so dominant for so long that I think he almost has gained that respect to allow him
Exactly.
to at least be dropped.
I agree with that. I think and especially in a championship fight, you've earned your accomplishments. We've seen what you've done. You're the champ for a reason. You're going to
Yeah,
get stunned if you come back from it. Hell, who knows, bro? We've seen many of fights where you're on your last leg, just like you said, Joey. When a wounded animal's, it's not adrenaline, it's just survival, man.
yeah,
You know what I
and I
mean?
just think and here's the thing, I think why Izzy was so pissed is because Izzy knew that on the scorecard it was in the bag for him, and I think
Yeah.
Izzy knew that if he could just find a way to withstand those 3 minutes left, that he had the fight won. I
Hmm.
think that's what hurts even more. Is that
Right.
do I think it was a good stoppage for any other fight? Again, yes.
Hmm.
But a fighter like Izzy, who's been where he's been, who's done what he's done, I think he's earned enough to let him go out on his shield.
Exactly. I agree with 100%. But Joey, real quick before we go into anything else, that revenge word, Joey. I'm going to switch it over real quick. There was, I'm a big Cowboys fan, and I think Mike McCarthy did the same damn thing. You
Huh.
know, I really do. I think he was just, that 4th and 3 play where he didn't go for the field goal. I would have went for the points. I think he's just in his head saying like, you know what? I got one more big this to Green Bay. I'm going to put the
Well,
dagger
here's my thinking of that. You tell me what you think.
in.
And it's a little bit of a bullshit analysis, but
Mhm,
I do think it's the truth. Um, the defense has gotten you to this point all season. Defense has carried you on their back.
mhm.
I feel like it was a big middle finger to the defense. Like, hey, you got
Thank
us to
you.
this.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you,
hey,
Joey.
you
Thank
got
you.
us to this point,
Thank you.
but we don't trust you enough
Thank
to
you.
hold them to
Thank
three
you.
points.
Joey, I
Like,
put that
that's
on
what it felt
Facebook.
like to me.
I put that in group chats, Joey, all over the Cowboys thing, and I took heat for it. They're like, "You're not a fan." I'm like, "Listen to me, Joey. If you're my defense, you're Micah Parsons. You've got me to being 6-2, Joey. It's not the
Yeah,
offense; it's the defense. Number one, if I'm the head coach, Joey, I would have said, you know what? Let's go get the 3 points. I walk over to my defense. Maher makes the kick. We go up 3. I
yeah.
walk over to my defense, like,
He's
listen,
making
boys.
that kick. He's making that
Exactly.
kick easily.
Yeah, I go over to my defense and like, look, I know you gave up 14 points, but you got us here at 6-2.
Yeah.
Bend but don't break. If you give up the field goal, that's fine. We go to OT. I'm taking the game in your hands. Go win this goddamn
Well,
game
it was
for us.
already OT, Paul.
That's what I mean. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's just like you give up the field
Like
goal,
you
you
literally
get a
needed to
tie.
get us anything but a touchdown to keep that game going.
But you only gave Rodgers, you only needed 35, 40 yards, Joey, for the field goal. You know what I mean? Like, get the 3 points, kick it back for a touchback. Now you have to go 65, 70 yards. You
Yeah,
know what I
but
mean?
what I'm saying is, at that situation, if he makes it, you literally go to your defense and say, you can do anything you want, but allow a touchdown.
Exactly. Bend but don't break. You've
And
done it all
it
season.
was a huge slap in the face to
It
the
was.
unit that got you to that point.
It was. Yeah.
And here's what I worry about. Forget the game because the game's over with now.
Mhm.
I worry about the rest of the season now. Like now there's some doubt in the head of the defense because the coach didn't trust us enough to go out there and get one stop.
Yeah.
We weren't trusted enough to get one stop that the coach went for it on the 40-yard line in an overtime game. Like to me, that's a bigger slap in the face than the actual result because the Cowboys are still sitting good
Hmm.
because most of the teams in the NFC have 5 or more losses. So the
Right.
Cowboys are still sitting good in a playoff spot. But I
Hmm.
worry about the psychological aspect of it going forward of okay, well now that the coach doesn't trust us enough in the defense.
No, I agree with 100%. It was a slap in the face to the defense. I mean, you're 6-2 for a reason, man. Yeah, you give up big plays, you bend, but you don't break.
Yeah.
I always call the Dallas a good red zone defense. They bend, but they don't break. 20-20. You might give up yardage. You keep them in front. But if that's me, Joey, I'm going over to my defense saying, like, listen, I know we gave up 14 to get them back in the game, but listen, it's all on you guys. You got us here. We got the field goal. We got the lead. Now it's your turn to take us
Yeah.
home. Take us home now.
And you know something else, Paul, too I want to touch
Piss
on
me off.
before we end the show?
Hmm.
Um both Eagles game and the Cowboys game towards the end there were some questionable calls, there were some questionable no calls there.
Hmm.
Um, but for the fans who are using those as excuses
No,
as
no,
to why our team has won or lost, it's
no.
just asinine. Because here's the
Mhm.
thing: the Eagles were 11-point favorites.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
they left a lot to be desired in that game.
Mhm,
Now, mind you, take away the Dallas Goedert play because that was a blatant miscall.
mhm,
Should have been a fumble. Watkins play.
mhm.
Sorry about that, but who the fuck gets up in open field and holds the ball with
Hold the
one
ball like
hand?
a loaf of bread, Joey, a loaf of bread.
Like, listen, I'm not one of those big conspiracy theories for like the NFL games rigged, but watching that play back, that was one of the few plays in the NFL where it makes me question if the NFL is rigged. Like, like first of all, you were double covered. You caught the ball, right? You caught the ball.
Yeah.
Did you think those two guys are behind you weren't going to be right on your ass when you got up with the ball?
Well,
But you
Joey
held the ball with one hand.
Joey, you know what? As he went down, none of the defenders touched him, so you're clear first. Your first emotion is going to get up and run the ball, but holding the ball out there,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
So, but there's just a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of missed chances. That flag, that facing was a missed call. There were some missed calls, but the Eagles left a lot to be desired, so don't blame on the refs. Same thing with the Cowboys. Cowboys were up 14
Thank you.
going
Yeah,
into the fourth.
thank you.
No one call is giving up 14 points.
That's what I mean, Joey. A lot of these fans, they think like, oh, well, it was the. I hate, Joey. If it's one call and you get a good called game the entire game, and a ref calls a bad call to jeopardize the game or put the game in one direction in overtime or fourth quarter last drive, I get that. That's all refs. But this game, Joey, the Cowboys were up 14 damn points.
Yeah.
One penalty, one bad call on CD Lamb doesn't jeopardize the whole damn game. It doesn't give you a 14-point advantage.
Yeah.
In the Washington game, you're clear 11-point favorites. Hey, listen, I understand points advantage is nothing. We understand that any given Sunday or whatever.
There was
But
now I
the
will say there
the
was
Redskins
3 bad
dominated the game.
calls.
Mhm.
There was 3 bad calls. Wasn't really the reason the Eagles lost the game, but there was 3 bad calls where it makes you question the game. The first call that I was pissed off about was the late hit call against Gardner Johnson. The guy was
Mhm.
clearly still in, and he called a late hit. That was the first bad call. Second bad call was the blatant face mask miss, where now Dallas Goedert is out 4 weeks because of that call. The
Mhm.
call wouldn't have changed the fact that Goddard got hurt, but it would have made that hurt a little less, knowing that he would have gotten
Right. It would
gotten
have
a
been an
flag
automatic. It would
for
have
it.
been an automatic first down. You're moving the
Still
chain.
our ball.
You're moving the
Remember, he
chain.
fumbled that ball.
Hmm.
So that hurt a little bit right there too. And then the last thing that hurt
With
was
Brandon Graham.
the Brandon Graham call. And I don't even care about the flag, but Taylor Heinicke is such a fucking dork the way he celebrated after a flag.
You know what, Joey? In my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, was it clearly that he wanted to do that? Just go down a knee and in a
But did it look like
millisecond.
he was trying to get up?
It did look like, was he slid on his knee, and you know how like Joey, when you slide, just like go to baseball, Joey, you're sliding to second base, you're clearly ahead of the throw, you slide in, you pop up real quick. That's exactly what it looked like he was doing. He slid, and like that left leg was on the ground dragging, and that
Yeah.
popped you back up. That's what
And
it looked like he was doing.
if you watch Graham on that play, Graham was going full speed. As soon as he saw Heinicke on his knee,
He pulled a
Graham tried to pull up,
little.
but he's a 300-pound man at 30
Mhm.
plus years old. It's not easy for those wheels to stop anymore as it
Sure,
is.
sure.
It was a boneheaded play, but the ref has to know the situation, that this is a game defining flag,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if he would have not pulled that flag out, no one would have blinked an eye. It wasn't one of
Mhm.
those blatantly obvious flags where,
Hmm.
oh my god, that's such an outrageous call, you have to call it. They didn't call it, but like it wasn't like clowning on Wentz in the playoff game where they didn't call a flag. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I think it would have easily been fine if they didn't call the
So
flag.
to me, it was more like a Heineke got the Oscar that day when he did
But
that.
he is such a.
The
I'm sorry.
the way he performed that, slide. Yeah, you know what? We know the rules, Drew. If you go head first, you're still alive as a quarterback.
Yeah.
You go feet first, you're down on contact where you start your slide. Number one. That's even Mike Pierre said it. He's like, oh, I don't agree with that call. I
Yeah.
don't agree with that call. Like, dude, you're
And
you're ahead
I just
officially.
don't agree with it because it's you get that stop, you get the ball back, you have a chance to win the game, and
Mhm.
that for you to as the ref decide the game with that flag, that's what pisses me off the most. Just
Mhm.
because we're trying to get the NFL to the point where the refs aren't as big of a part of deciding the game,
Agree.
and then to allow that flag to be thrown there to decide the game.
Agree.
Because don't get me wrong, the Eagles should have won this game. They had plenty of opportunities, but when it came down to it, that kind of decided the game because it allowed them to then run the clock out. But
Mhm.
I don't even care about the refs. Heineke's a fucking dork. I'm sorry. The way he celebrated like he's won the Super Bowl,
Oh,
bro.
yes, yes. It was like one of those where I don't know who did it before, but he's going down, he's like pumping his fist like this, like are you serious, brother? Like
Like
literally.
someone put a picture up of like I'm not sure if you saw the meme where the guy's like celebrating with like champagne and stuff, right? And
Mhm,
they put the ribbon on his neck and stuff, and then they show you like they pan the camera out,
mhm,
and it says Taylor Heineke on the shirt, and it's the Redskins or the Commanders at
mhm,
fourth place, while you have the Cowboys, Giants, and Eagles sitting 1 through 3, and with
mhm.
them in fourth place, like celebrate they just won the World Series or Super Bowl. It's just like, and then he bought the entire offensive line, uh,
I didn't even see that. I didn't even see
eagle
that.
eagle colored Jordans.
Are you serious?
Like, bro, you won a regular season game. We sacked you 8 times in the beginning, in the first week of third week of the season. Like, let's not act like we just won the Super Bowl here.
Wow. Then next week he'll go out and shit the bed. You know what I mean? Then Wentz will be back in right after that. So.
Yeah, that's the only thing that pissed me off. Is like the Eagles fans didn't get to boo the brakes off of Wentz
Oh,
as a
come on,
starter.
Joey. Come on. Leave Wentz alone for a while, okay? Leave him
Fuck,
alone.
fuck Wentz. Dude, seriously though, if it wasn't for Howie having such a great turnaround,
Hmm.
you know how bad of a situation Carson left us in
I
when
agree.
he
Joey, listen,
when he
you know,
requested a trade. He got the coach fired
yeah, yeah.
because the coach wanted Jalen and not Carson, and that's what
Hmm.
led to that. Got the coach fired. He left us with a $20 million cap hit
Hmm.
with no real direction because you didn't at the time know if Jalen was the guy. You
Hmm.
know, no real direction. It was such a horrible situation that he left us in that fuck him. Yeah. And I loved Carson. I was the biggest Carson supporter in the world, and you know that. But
Hmm.
the way he left us was, you know, like when the going gets tough, you just curl up into a ball, you know, and like cry, you know. What? I guess he's never had a fight for his position before.
Hmm.
I guess that's what happens when you are from a small town. You go to the small town high school. You go to the small town college. You never had to fight for your position before. So
Yeah, where is North Dakota State in anyway? Where is that school at anyway? I don't even freaking
yeah.
know. You know, like, come on,
Well, I
dude.
think it's the North Dakota Bowl.
You're probably right. Yeah, I thought it was in fucking South Dakota, but anyway, you know.
But I just think I don't know. Eagles are headed in the right direction. A lot of fans act like the world was falling down. It was
Hmm.
one loss. They're still sitting top of first place.
Hmm.
Still controls their own destiny at this
True,
point.
true.
You know, we went out and we had got two big bodies in that middle. A lot of
Yeah,
people
yeah.
saying that they're
You got Sue and Joseph. Hey,
and they're two guys who might not be what they once were, but guess what? They still are. They're
it's
still
depth,
300
Joey.
pounds.
It's depth too. A lot of depth too. You got
They're
two man
still
rotation.
300 plus pound, Paul.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
They can still clog up. All we need them to do with the way the Eagles play defense is clog up the middle of the field, allow take up the blockers, allow the linebackers to fill the gaps and get the tackles. That's what the Eagles defense does, and that allows them to do it with these two guys. And then
Hmm.
when you get Davis back, think about a line of at one point in time, if you know it's gonna be a run play, you can have Davis, Cox, Sue, and Joseph's all in the line at one time, stopping the run. I mean, that's pretty enticing.
Yeah, we don't want to get to that point yet, Joe. You don't need to talk about that yet. Okay, not yet. You know that'll probably be the week. When was Jordan's coming back? When's Davis coming back anyway?
I think 13.
Week 13. Okay, that's right around the Cowboys.
I think he's able to come back the Green Bay game.
Okay, all right. So he'll be available for when we play us. Okay, all right,
Yeah,
all right. Yeah.
Davis is Davis is a difference maker. But
Well, he definitely is, Joe. He definitely is. You know, like
this week I'm a Cowboys fan.
I bet you are, Joey. Joey, real quick. I know we're getting off subject here, real quick. But did you see the line for that Cowboys Vikings game?
What is it?
The Cowboys are favorite.
Is it home?
No, they're in Minnesota.
Really?
The Vikings are plus 1.5 at home.
You know why I think it might be? Because
Tell me why.
last week's game was such an emotional game for the Vikings.
Yeah,
I
and it
think
was a
you're
letdown for the Cowboys. Yeah. Huh.
yeah, but I think you're down to have a letdown after just the pure come from
Mhm.
behind, the pure heroics that game had. You know, remember the look at that the Vikings
Mhm.
in the playoffs versus the Saints.
And then he played you guys.
They played us, and then look what happened. They just didn't show up. You know, when you
I
have
agree.
wins like that, a lot of times you get complacent a little bit, and you don't show up the next week.
I agree with that. I agree with that point, Joey. But man, I don't know, dude. I don't. You know, as a Cowboy fan, Joey, you've known me for years and years, and I'm the very most critical person on my team. And I just don't. I really don't know. I don't believe in McCarthy. I don't believe in Kellen Moore.
Oh,
And
you
truth
know,
be
I don't
told,
believe in McCarthy either.
you know, and truth be told, I don't know what Dak is right now. I know he can throw. He can sling the ball, but to me,
How
he's
about
got it.
Evan's comment today? That's the first time I ever heard that.
What's that? What was he saying?
I'm not gonna mention it on air. We'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay, all right. I didn't even see it. Was it the group chat?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even. I was in practice all day. I really didn't like.
had
Just,
me cracking up.
I just read a couple things like here and there, but yeah, but yeah. But Joey, listen, man. Before we get out of here, anything else you want to talk about? Now, I don't have the picture up here yet, Joey. But you know, listen, man. I'm cold as shit up here. I mean, it's freaking cold. You know, I wish I can get down somewhere that's nice and warm. So, listen, man. I might give you a call because I know who to call. But where can our viewers call anybody out there to get the hell out of this cold ass weather, brother?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So as everyone knows, I'm a travel agent with Disney. I do
Mhm.
Disney World, Disney California, Disney Cruises. Disney also has like a Hawaii resort where you can go to Disney Hawaii.
Ooh.
But here's the thing: is Disney is increasing their prices by 12% come
Mhm.
December 8th. If you lock in a vacation package before the 8th of December,
Mhm.
you get the cheaper rates. Even if you book for next year, you get the cheaper rates still at this time.
Okay.
So reach out to me. The only thing it costs now is $200 to book. The rest is not due until 30 days before your trip. So you get to lock in your cheaper price 30 days before the trip. Why
Mhm.
not? It's a no-brainer. But even if you're just kind of on the fence and you say, "Well, Disney's never going to work for me. It's too expensive." Reach
Right.
out to me. Because if you're a family who like goes to Wildwood every year, I can promise you that a week in Disney is going to be cheaper than a week in Wildwood.
Wow. Wow. We never thought of that, Joey. Never thought of that.
Yeah, because Wildwood, you think a hotel in Wildwood at this point is almost like $2,000 for the week, right?
Yeah, you're right. Right. Yeah.
And then when you get to there, you still all your food. If you have kids, they're gonna want to do rides every day.
Mhm.
That's like $70 a day right there. It almost is the exact same price. And I'm sorry, but Disney's much nicer than Wildwood.
And what better place to take your kids for memories, Joey? Disney itself. Where just put you have your kid this year. You get your family, you get your two kids, one kid, whatever. You go to Disney, time of your life. It's
Yeah.
magical. It's a one in a
And if you
lifetime
take them
experience.
before they're three,
You
Paul, the
know.
kids are free.
Oh wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And then into that, Joey, 20 years down the line, you never been to Disney in your life, and all your best friends like, man, remember the time we went to Disney? Where'd you go? I went down the shore.
Yeah.
Give Joey Woods a call and get down to Disney. I promise you. Listen, he hooked my niece up about 7 months ago, going Joey, and she had the best time ever. So you took care of her. I appreciate it, brother. We'll have that logo up here, and we'll actually put it on the page. I believe it's already on the Out of the Box page. Am I correct, Joey?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so give Joey a call out there. We're gonna have a link on every one of our shows at the very bottom running through. So give him a call. Get your family down to Disney. You know, the best travel agent out there. He doesn't get paid until what, Joey?
What'd you say?
When do you get paid for this? You take no money. You take no money at all,
So
correct,
it's
Joey?
nothing. And so there's nothing that
Okay.
you, the customer, pays more for. It's not more to use my service.
Okay.
Disney pays me a
There you go.
portion of the total price you pay, but your price is not more to use me.
There you
Your
go.
price is the same regardless.
There you
And another thing is like I don't just help you book. Like I'll help you plan your meals. I'll help you make your park reservations. I'll help you even do your ride reservations if you
Can you
need
give
me
me?
to.
Can you give me one of those easy passes or magical passes too, Joey?
I can. I
See, there
can.
you go. That's why you got to give Joey a call because
And
I didn't know
Paul,
about all
listen,
that.
you have a bad back. You have a bad back. Waiting in lines
Mhm.
might be a little hard for you.
Mhm.
I can get you a special disability pass. Gets you to the front of every ride.
So then I can actually say I must be in the front row.
Yep.
Let's see. I got to, what, Joey, I'm giving you a call, and then maybe next year we'll set this up and we'll get down there, brother. But hey, listen, give Joey Woods a call. So real quick, guys, we'll go over the show lineup real quick. We're not gonna go crazy about it. Of course, we're usually on Tuesday nights, Fight Club 215, every Tuesday at 10 p.m. You got every other Wednesday now, the Batcave. Baseball season's over, but Ken is still out there talking about the New York Mets. Wednesday night college football,
We're gonna
friends.
have a lot to talk about Paul coming up. Did you see the report coming out about them?
Yeah, I did. I think Ken's gonna be. I think Ken's gonna be hopping on this week. Next week, he's a
That's
week off. But I
crazy.
think he's hopping on definitely this week to talk about all those.
Allegations. Yeah, it's
Exactly. Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. The tampering. The judge tampering.
The, the lack of their forp. They're saying that the Mets are deliberately not talking to Judge because the Mets owner is so friendly with
Oh
Yankee
wow, I didn't
fans.
even see that point. I seen the accusations, but I didn't read it all into it. But yeah,
Yeah.
wow, yeah, definitely tune out the Batcave. Ken probably will be talking about that because he is a diehard Mets fan. So listen up, he'll talk about it. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. College Football Frenzy, giving you all the in and out top 25 of college football. Every Wednesday night, 9:30, them 215 boys keeping it real about the Dallas Cowboys. And of course, this earlier today, you see Mike Laurel, Big Mike's 4-4 locker room pass, keeping it all about the Eagles, Flyers, Phillies, Sixers. Tomorrow night, we have Big Blue Power Hour with Evan, Stacy, and Dan talking New York Giants. Ahead of us, right behind the Eagles. So it's a good way to talk about the division. And Saturday morning, Joe, I believe you're on this Saturday, correct?
We are.
Out of the ring wrestling talking. What are you talking about this week, Joey?
Full Gear Saturday night.
Ooh, there we go. Pay-per-view, check it out. Tune into them. They'll be talking about it all. And of course, Vegas Sports Scene. Saturdays at 10 p.m. I forgot to put up the new logo. Rob Hefner and Ken Fry talking all about those Raiders out there. Not much to talk about, but hey, tune them in. They'll be on there live. And of course, to our sponsor, J Fine Law, aka Big Al. For all your personal injury needs, give him a call. 1-800-HURT-123. He's located at 1628 JFK Boulevard, right in the heart of Center City, Philadelphia. Once again, that's J Fine Law. 1-800-HURT-123. Tell them the boys from Out of the Box that she'll take care of you. And also up here in Johnstown, we have Castle Boxing, Big Dog Bill, home of Trayshawn Wiggins, a 10th ranked world welterweight boxer in the world, training out there. Spin classes, cardio classes, kickboxing, you name it, they got you.
Do you have any news, Paul, on his next upcoming fight?
He actually is going to be fighting in February, Joey. He actually texted me a couple of nights ago. He is going to be fighting in Miami, I believe, down there. They haven't named his opponent yet because there's still speculation. Because the one guy, Joey, I don't know if you've seen this, the guy that he called out, I forgot his name. Right before the fight was over, Joey, he grabbed the guy and threw the other guy out of the ring, and he was disqualified. And this was the guy. This was the guy Trayshawn was supposed to fight. He was right ahead of him as well in the rankings. So yeah, it's up for stipulation. Trayshawn said he don't want to fight a lesser fight, but what did Trayshawn tell us? He ducks nobody. Hey, he's there. But real quick, Joey, are you going to be available this Saturday?
I'm taking the kids to Sesame, so I will not.
Okay. Natalie Morgan, she'll be hopping on the Fight Club 215. She is actually training out of Philadelphia, but right now she's in Malaysia, if I'm saying it correctly. She'll be joining us from Malaysia. It's going to be on at 9 p.m. this Saturday. So give that a watch out there. She's the 8th ranked Muay Thai fighter in the world. She's a multi-division fighter. She's won the world championship about 2 years ago, but unfortunately lost it in her first defense. But tune into that show. Great person. So in essence, during that, and next week on Fight Club 215, if you're a big Muay Thai fighter out there, I have an autograph poster from Natalie Morgan. We're going to give one live viewer that can actually tell us something that they witnessed during the show. We're going to give you a couple of trivia questions during the show. We're going to put it on the Out of Box page. If you get it correctly, send me the address and you win that poster. Signed by Natalie Morgan. So we'll do something like that, Joey.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So, hey, listen, for myself, it's a special night. It's Thursday. It's 10. We're on 10 o'clock tonight due to my unforeseen circumstances on Tuesday night. But you can check us out next Tuesday night, 10 p.m. We'll be back. For myself, Paul Spencer, and Joey Woods, we will see you next Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Have a great night.